Alright, you read the title of the video, I'm not going to waste your time. There is only one thing in this world that I'm actually scared of. Now, there's, little things like, I don't call them little, when I say little things, I mean like, they're, in the grand scheme of things, they're not super significant. Things like being scared of spiders and whatnot. Like, yeah, okay, fair enough. Spiders are scary, but, it's not the end of the world. But things like, being scared of death or actually being scared of failing. Fear of rejection is going to bring you down. It will ruin you. And, that kind of stuff. So there is like a spectrum. We'll go to the spectrum. Now, I'm not going to tell you where or what. I'm not going to judge you based on what you're scared of, but it kind of tells a little bit about your character. If you are, scared of very little things. But, I'm not going to gatekeep from you. I'm just kind of explaining where my mindset's at in terms of my justification, I guess. Is that the right word? What are the parameters I'm setting? And the only thing that I'm genuinely scared of, there's a lot of things that in the world that I could be scared of, but there's only one thing that actually fucks with my head. And it's like growing old and have not made it, like fear of not making. I can't bear to think about fucking being some old retiree who can barely afford to pay for his food and whatnot after working 40 years of their life, 45 years, all to just be be in the same financial situation as a unemployed uni student. It's like, minus the uni, obviously. And it's like, what did you work all those years for? I sit there and I work fairly hard on, do work hard on, becoming this dream person and who I want to be, and financial freedom and looking really good and all this stuff. But there's this in the back of my mind that if it doesn't work out, or if I change my mind, or if I give up and I do go into a working for the rest of my life, like when I say working, like 9 to 5, like trading my time for money. And it's just, I don't want to ever have to feel the way that I do now, in the terms that I have to look at the cost of things. I want to be able to just, not have to think about the price. Just go anywhere, go on trips, spend 10 grand in a day, and it's like, okay, whatever, no biggie. And it's pretty much the only thing that actually spurs me on in terms of motivating me to keep working, because there's other things, motivation, discipline, whatever. But if you don't know what you're running from, you don't really know where you're running to, if that makes sense. Like, if I'm so adamant that I do not want to live this, I'll say poor lifestyle. It's not poor, but it's, barely getting by type shit. It's like, no. I hate struggling for money and having to think about going shopping, and like I was looking at buying a watch, and I bought one, like a dress watch. So I need this fucking Apple Watch. Buying a dress watch to kind of, make and a bit of jewelry. And I bought a couple of things. It cost me like $200. because I had a good couple of weeks at work and had a bit of money. And so I bought them and they didn't fit, whatever, sizing was wrong, whatever. So I sent it back. And that's, the next week my work dried up and it kind of just seemed like I kind of can't spend that money anymore. And I got my refund and I just haven't bothered to go out looking again. And I'm like, well, fuck this. I want to be able to go and buy a nice watch and some new jewelry, chains and whatever, without having to fucking think about my $10 a week gym membership and whatever, and petrol in my car. It's like, I don't want to have to think about this shit. I'd rather think about, more important. When I say more important shit, I mean like, it all has its relative importance. Like, having enough money to put fuel in my car is pretty much one of utmost importance, because otherwise then I can't go to anywhere, and then I can't work, and it's a snowball effect. And paying bills is kind of the most important thing, but I want to be able to think about what can I working on my business, and that be the most important thing. And it just sits in the back of my mind that, I think Andrew Tate said, what was the quote? It was, he was talking about having like a safety net, like a backup plan if this doesn't work, but he's like, but it has to work. And I think the person who was talking to you was like, but what if it doesn't? But he's like, it has to. That mindset that you can't fail. Like, there's failure is not an option. And that mindset sits with me every day. Regardless of how I'm feeling, whatever, and whatever I'm doing, it just sits in the back of my mind, and it probably sit there until I've made it, which I am thankful for, because it gives me a reason to get up every day. And it gives me a reason to go to the gym and make YouTube videos and whatever. But it's just a shit feeling knowing that if I stop, that's it. My worst fear is going to come true. And, I'm adjusting to it. It's whatever, I'm not saying like it's the end of the world, but it's actually fucking terrifying knowing that if I give up or if I stop for whatever reason, that it's kind of out of my control. I'll get a job, I'll finish my uni degree, get a shitty job, and just work for the rest of my life. And I'm like, no, I was not put on this earth to work in a fucking office for the rest of my life. I just wasn't. And I don't know if there's anyone believing that I do, but even if there is no one to prove wrong, I'm going to prove myself right. And that's kind of my mentality with my work and why I do what I do. So yeah, I'm gonna keep this one a little bit short, because it's not really, there's not really much else to talk about. It's kind of just, I don't want to be broke when I'm old, and that's kind of why I'm working now. If you're still here at the end of the video, I love you, and remember, life is what you make it.